right, we are here at my outdoor worm bin, and last time we were in here, we harvested it, and this time we're going to give them a really big feeding because the last feeding was smaller, and we're going to check and see how these leaves are doing after 3 months. And so far, it feels like a different texture in here compared to when I just used the shredded cardboard. Now, there's a lot of bedding on top, and that's because we just harvested a bit again. That's one of the things I like about this worm bin is you can harvest every time you feed. And check it out, right on top, all kinds of great big worms, and I love that. And let's see what we fed them last time because they are really enjoying what's here. So first we put the remains of the loofah down and put what was left of the watermelon on top of that. Then we added some shredded cardboard along with a bunch of cherries and grapes on a vine. Next we added our amendments of worm chow, used coffee grounds, and some pulverized eggshell grit. Finally we added a little bit more of the shredded cardboard and buried it up. And I think we checked in at an earlier interval last time because we had that massive worm ball inside the leftover watermelon, and I don't expect to see that because it has been about 3 weeks since we were in here last. And we fed right down the center here, so let's just kind of go right under and see if there's anything right there left of the last feeding. And oh my gosh, yes, they are still working on that watermelon. Looks like they've got most of it done, just a little bit of the peel. But what you're seeing right here is either a grape or a cherry. And this to me looks like the grapes because they're on a vine. And I'm pretty impressed with them. Everything was frozen, so they are going to be softer, but it looks like perhaps they've gotten in without me bursting the skins. So things are looking great. I love to see the worms all over the food and kind of catch them in the act, even though it's been 3 weeks. Now we are in the winter time, so they're going to be a little bit slower to eat the food that we give them compared to in the summer. But you can see this worm bin is just bursting with worms. They are all inside this worm bin, just devouring whatever they can. And this right here, I think, is the flufa. It is really breaking down. In fact, I could probably just rip it in half. Now, this flufa didn't get much use before I put it in here because I just wanted to run with the experiment. But when you use your flufa and then put it into your worm bin, it is probably going to break down super quick. And yeah, this is basically just disintegrating. So we'll kind of keep it intact. The worms seem to be liking it. And I'm thinking there might be some cocoons in here, but I don't know if that's a seed or cocoon, but very cool. All right, let's keep digging down to see if there's anything else below, see if they've eaten up the shredded cardboard. And yeah, just kind of uniform looking castings and bedding in here, and a lot of leaves. We only have oak leaves around us and not too many. We mostly have pine needles and palm fronds, so you don't see me using a whole lot of leaves. And a lot of folks pre-compost their leaves, and that makes it a lot easier for the worms to break it down. But leaves are a great bedding source, and they are certainly one of the most natural bedding sources you can put into your worm bin. So we're going to keep digging from the sides and the corners here and see how everything is doing and kind of mix it all around. Obviously, in nature, the worms aren't getting something aerating the soil for them, so they're doing that. But in a worm bin, I like to make sure that there's no pockets of fermentation or any off-gassing going on. I actually had an issue with that in the vermi hut because of something we put in there, so be looking out for that video. Lots of great worms right there inside the avocado shells. They really like that. A little baby right there. And let's pull over here. Again, a lot of the same consistency throughout. I like to see that, especially on the sides. Now, I'm thinking they're in here not only because of the food, but because it's a little bit warmer in the center compared to the outsides. The temperatures have been in the 50s at night. Sometimes we get into the 40s, but nothing too bad. Oh yeah, looking good. Looking real good. Now we did bulk up this worm bin, and I am seeing the fruits of that labor because I have this bin about halfway full. Over the summer it had been closer to about a quarter of the way full, and you can see it's pretty deep here from my hand up. So things are looking good, and that just means that we're going to get a ton of castings for our spring garden. All right, I'm just going to keep mixing it up more, and then we'll come back as we're getting ready to feed it.
I think you could feed all that stuff because there's not really food.
One little cherry. Got one little cherry right there. It's got really tough skin. I can feel it. Let me rip it, and that will help them get into it. Probably take these two things out. Oh, that's a leaf, but that is a sticker. All right, we got a nice hole for our big feeding here, and we'll start by putting the loofah down just like that. And let's get these babies off of me. So I'm going to wrap up some food scraps for them, and these are just some soiled napkins. I think we had a coffee spill, and we soaked it up with these napkins. So let's give them some apple cores, some apple slices, and some strawberries, and we'll just bury that up just like that. And then we have just a ton of banana peels. They're going to get a whole lot of that. And you are going to see this again because they'll eat kind of this fleshy stuff out real quick, but they're going to leave this part and especially this part right here a little bit longer. All right, we'll put some more down. And they're going to get a lettuce stalk, some orange peels, and a strawberry top. Just wrap that up like a little burrito for them as well. And then in with more banana peels. Check this out. We're just going to dump everything in here. Here we go. Oh man, I forgot about these whole bananas. I think we, at some other point when we were feeding a worm bin, saw them and promised to bring them out here, and here they are. I just kind of forgot about them, but lots of good food scraps here that we've previously frozen, like these strawberries and tomatoes and celery. And this is a pretty big worm bin with a lot of worms, so something like this citrus peel here is not going to be a problem. I know a lot of people say don't put it in, but the worms will eventually eat it after microbes kind of take care of it. And then this right here, believe it or not, is a lot of coffee grounds and some tea grounds, and we've got some weird orange mold growing on them, but we'll just put it in just like that. And I'm going to be pretty generous with it because I have noticed in our time lapse with a vermi hut that the worms just absolutely pile around the coffee after about 6 or 7 days. Really fun to watch. Again, that's coming up in another video. And then next, we'll put in some of our eggshell grit, another thing that I see them come right up for when we do our time lapses. So this is looking really good. I am really excited about this big feeding, and I think we can check in on it maybe in another 2 to 3 weeks, and we'll find that most of that food is going to be gone except for those banana peels. And I'm just going to go ahead and bury it up so the worms have easy access to it. And then we are going to run into things like this. Isn't that pretty cool there? That was grapes. And between freezing them and the worms, that's what they look like right now. I'll just bury that inside and check this out right here. That to me, well, I thought maybe they were mating, but a good look at the red wigglers that are in here. This is a bin just full of red wigglers. I just love watching them go back in. I'll give them a little help, and executive producer wants that cherry pushed right back in. So I hope you found this video helpful, and if you did, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and give me a like. And if you want to see compost worms in action obliterating a pumpkin, check out this video right here. So I hope you're having a great day. I hope your worm bins are doing fantastic. So happy vermicomposting, everybody. Take care now.